WLBT, 3 on your side. WLBT News starts now.
It is 5:30. Good morning. I'm First Alert meteorologist Julia White. And then this morning, you're waking up to mild temperatures in the 50s and low 60s. Vicksburg at 65 degrees. Jackson right now at 61. You're seeing a little bit of cloud cover south of the metro this morning. That's going to burn off and we'll have mostly sunny skies as we head into the afternoon. Winds today are going to be blustery and coming out of the south-southwest. I'll have more details on what to expect through your day today coming up in a couple minutes.
Jackson police have identified a second suspect in a March 5th double murder. Warrants have been issued for the arrest of 19-year-old Joshua Dukes. He is wanted for 2 counts of capital murder. 19-year-old Anthony Harris is also charged in the murders. He is in custody this morning. The victims, Daniel Gomez and Eli Nunez, were both shot to death on West Haven Boulevard and later died at a Jackson hospital. A dog was also shot and killed during the incident. Contact JPD or Crime Stoppers if you have any information.
One woman is in custody and 2 teens are in the hospital following a shooting Sunday night in Pascagoula. Now, this video circulating on social media may show what started it all. Neighbors where the shooting took place say it all began with this fight in an unknown park in Moss Point. They say after the fight ended, the group made their way to Pascagoula. That is where the shooting happened. Police say they have the information about the video and their investigation is ongoing. But neighbors say the woman currently in custody was not in the wrong.
Now you got a mama separated from her kids for defending her property, which I feel like she was in the right to do, because you got a gang of kids in front of your house with guns threatening your kids. The kids that came to this lady's house was in the wrong, and what ended up happening is a sad situation, but they brought it upon themselves coming to this lady's house.
Police say they are looking for another shooter involved in the incident. Jury selection is now underway in the retrial of a woman charged with killing the former George County Sheriff. Brandy Williams is on trial in Lauderdale County. She's charged with capital murder in the death of Sheriff Gary Welford. Williams was convicted of the same crime 4 years ago, but the conviction was overturned by an appeals court. She's accused of crashing her truck into Sheriff Welford while he was setting up a roadblock during a high-speed chase. The second suspect, Christopher Baxter, is currently serving a life sentence. Groups advocating more support for early childhood education here in Mississippi are meeting at the state capitol today.
And Jewel Hillary joins us live from the Capitol with more details. Jewel, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Wilson. Good morning, Joy. The 4th annual Early Childhood Education Day will take place here at the state capitol between 8 and noon today. And during that time, a number of organizations focused on Mississippi's youngest learners will share information with lawmakers about the importance of early childhood education in Mississippi and its significance on the future economy for the Magnolia State. Now, according to a representative from the Center for Education Innovation, Mississippi provides $6 million annually for early childhood education for the Pre-K Collaborative and Mississippi Building Blocks. Early childhood advocates hope lawmakers will pass legislation boosting that annual amount significantly. According to the First 5 Years Fund, children who go through early childhood education programs are 70% less likely to be arrested for a violent crime before age 18. They are also more likely to be employed and earn a 33% higher average salary. Again, today's Early Childhood Education Day will take place at the state capitol from 8 until noon. Everyone is encouraged and invited to come on out. Reporting live in downtown Jackson, I'm Jewel Hillary, 3 on your side.
All right, Jewel, new figures show Mississippi has the worst jobless rate in the nation, but the unemployment rate was down in January, falling to 6.7 from 6.8% in December. A separate survey shows Mississippi payrolls fell slightly as well. There were 88,000 Mississippians unemployed in January, 4,000 above January 2015.
Hundreds of the state roads and bridges have been labeled subpar, but lawmakers now have to decide how much they're willing to shift the cost of repair to you, the taxpayers. This is the Mississippi Economic Council's plan that was introduced right before the legislative session, and it calls for an additional $375 million a year for roads and bridges. Lawmakers speaking at a recent event said it's time to stop kicking the can down the road, and some drivers agree.
You rather pay a couple more cents when you get gas than to pay thousands of dollars taking your car to get it fixed because you tore some tires or some front end work.
Lawmakers will only be in session about a month longer. No plan has been finalized, but transportation chairmen are optimistic they'll approve some type of funding mechanism. Happening today, the state's top school community partnerships will be honored during the Mississippi Association of Partners in Education Governors Awards Luncheon. Nearly 24 programs will be recognized for making positive impacts on academic achievement, literacy, dropout prevention, community service, and more. One of the 2 New Mexico fugitives who were caught over the weekend talked about his time as a free man. Let's get straight to Cheryl Lassiter of the Alert Center for more on what he said. Cheryl.
Yeah, Joy, Lionel Claw and Joseph Cruz, both violent criminals, escaped from a prison transport van on Wednesday. Cruz was captured in Albuquerque on Friday. They found Claw hiding in a home over the weekend. Here's what he said.
You had fun. Yeah. How were the last couple days?
Fun. Drinking.
Okay.
Partying.
Was it worth it?
Yep.
Okay. Police hope to make more arrests when they find out who may have aided the pair during their time on the run. Prison officials believe Cruz and Claw freed themselves from their shackles on Wednesday with some type of wire. That's the latest from the Alert Center.
All right, Cheryl, we're talking about the bus stop forecast now because this is the time of year when it can be totally different from one day to the next.
Exactly, and this morning it's going to feel fairly similar to yesterday morning, but in the afternoon we're going to be getting pretty warm. So I recommend that maybe if the kids are a little bit cool outside this morning and they want the long sleeves on, have a short sleeve layer underneath, because today we're talking about rivaling a possible record high temperature in the upper 80s. That's again for the afternoon. I'll talk more about that, what you can expect hour by hour through the day. I'll let you know how long the warm trend is going to last. That'll be coming up right after the break.
All right, as it gets more and more convenient to pay bills with your phone, it's more important than ever to take measures to protect yourself. Coming up, 3 is on your side with tips to keep your private information away from cyber predators.
This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
5:38, and we are waking up to a mild start this morning.
All right, Julia, the look for love is back on for users of the Tinder dating app after an hours-long outage that left some feeling burned. Tinder tweeted last night that they had fixed a technical glitch that accidentally deleted some users' matches. The company told users to log out, then log back in to have their matches restored. The match deletions came shortly after Tinder tweeted on Monday afternoon that some users were unable to log in. There were also reports of missing message histories. Well, it's getting easier and easier to use your phone to make purchases, but according to the Consumer Federation of America, some apps store more info about you than you realize. From your name and address to the contacts on your phone, some can even track your location. But there are simple steps to keep private information safe. Here we go. Lock your phone when you're not using it and read an app's privacy policy. Also, know who gets what information. Also, be careful when using public Wi-Fi because hackers and scammers can access your sensitive banking information. 5:42, want to head outside now for a live look at First Alert traffic. I-55 at the Pearl River, and it is smooth sailing here, an open road for you if you're going to be heading in this direction, both 55 south and northbound. No issues out there. Jackson police tell us it's all clear on this Tuesday morning drive-in. Well, he says he left America to fight with ISIS, but now he's changed his mind. What we know about a Virginia man who's now a deserter from the terror group. Plus, motorcycle mayhem on the streets of Vegas coming up. The stunts that landed nearly a dozen bikers in police custody.
And welcome on back. Today is a windy kind of a day. We've got a skirt alert for you today because those winds are going to be gusting up to 25 miles per hour. That's for most of central Mississippi, and the Delta could be as high as 35 miles per hour, and those winds coming out of the southwest. What's happening temperature-wise? We're going to be warming up thanks to those southwesterly winds. Temperatures up to the mid-60s by 10 a.m., into the mid and upper 70s by lunchtime. Low 80s at 2 p.m. and coming up to a high temperature today in the mid and upper 80s. A warm day, possibly a record-breaking day, and again a breezy one as well.
An American accused of traveling overseas to fight for ISIS has been captured in Iraq. Kurdish fighters say he was trying to flee ISIS when he stumbled into Kurdish-held territory. He had a Virginia driver's license that identified him as 26-year-old Mohammed Jalal Quis. His uncle says his family thought he was on vacation in Europe. A U.S. law enforcement official said Quis was not in a U.S. database of suspected ISIS members who traveled overseas. In other words, they didn't know he'd gone to fight with ISIS until he got caught trying to sneak out.
New information in the shooting death of a Maryland police officer. Preliminary evidence suggests that the officer may have been shot and killed by friendly fire. The Prince George's County Police Chief said at least 6 other officers were engaged in a shootout with the suspected gunman, 22-year-old Michael DeAndre Ford, when Officer Ja'Kai Colson was shot. The chief argued that Ford and his brothers stood by and watched and even shot cell phone video of the deadly confrontation. Colson was a 4-year veteran of the police department. He worked in narcotics and was in street clothes at the time of the shooting. Police in Georgia are looking for a man who shot a 6-year-old boy. Nishan Moore is now recovering at a hospital, but doctors are too afraid to move the bullet at this point. Police say Moore was riding his bike by a house where a party and Easter egg hunt were going on when someone started shooting. There's no word on any suspects or a motive. New information in the case of a Georgia dad accused of killing his son by leaving the toddler in a hot car. A judge has ruled that evidence of Ross Harris's infidelity, web searches on car deaths, and his family's financial status can be used in the trial. That information includes accusations that Harris was exchanging explicit text messages with minors. Harris's attorneys had fought to exclude evidence suggesting his marriage was on the rocks and may have been a reason for his son's death.
Happening today, Michigan Governor Rick Snyder will be one of several high-ranking officials on Capitol Hill answering questions about the water crisis in Flint. The U.S. House Oversight and Governmental Reform Committee is scheduled to hear testimony today and Thursday from key decision makers involved in the crisis. The current Environmental Protection Agency administrator will also take the stand. The first hearing was held on February 2nd, but neither Snyder nor EPA officials participated in the questioning. Motorcycle riders by the hundreds taking over the streets of Las Vegas. It's been an increasing problem over the weekends. The bikers, like the one seen in this video, have been taking over the road, shutting down traffic to other drivers so they can do tricks in the street. This weekend, 11 motorcyclists were detained following an organized response by officers. The Las Vegas Metro Police Department says stunts like this, not okay.
The Confederate flag has disappeared from a lot of places, but it's still on some Tennessee license plates. Tennessee lawmakers yesterday weighed in on a proposed ban on the Confederate flag plates. They're just one of many options for Tennessee car owners. State Senator Sarah Kyle sponsored the bill, which would stop the issuance and renewal of the Sons of Confederate Veterans specialized plates that include the flag.
Hulk Hogan's sex tape trial is now in its second week. The former wrestler, whose real name is Terry Bollea, is suing the website Gawker. At issue, Gawker's decision to publish an edited video clip showing Hogan having sex with the ex-wife of wrestler Todd Clem, better known as Bubba the Love Sponge. Bollea says he did not agree to be videotaped during the act, nor did he agree to have the videotape distributed. He claims publication of the clip has ruined his life, and he's seeking $100 million from the website. It's the story gross enough to make you want to swear off breakfast. Now, the president of Kellogg's is responding to the video of a man polluting its products. Stay with us.
Welcome on back. Kids are going to be rolling out of bed and heading off to school soon, and this is what they need to know as they head on out the door. Temperatures this morning are in the low 60s, and we have some cloud cover farther south along the Highway 84 corridor, but mostly clear in the Jackson metro area. Recess time, look how we warm up into the low 80s, and for the bus ride home, it is going to be pretty warm outside at 87 degrees. Definitely a day for short sleeves, but keep in mind, it's also going to be windy today as well. Wind gusts for most of us up to 25 miles per hour. We'll talk more about what to expect for the next 7 days ahead coming up in a couple minutes.
The Vicksburg couple held hostage before ultimately killing an accused murderer will receive $20,000. The money comes from a GoFundMe reward account set up by the family of Sharon Wilson. Raphael McLeod was charged with her kidnapping and murder last June. McLeod was on the run for over a week before the couple shot and killed him last week. An auto burglary suspect wanted out of Ridgeland is being held in the Madison County Jail without bond this morning. 33-year-old Billy Lee Branton is awaiting his initial court appearance. He was arrested by Vicksburg police following a traffic stop. Ridgeland investigators linked him to a February 20th car burglary.
All right, so put down your breakfast for this one. There's new reaction this morning to disgusting video of a Memphis Kellogg's worker urinating on a cereal assembly line. The company's president, Paul Norman, is responding, calling it unthinkable. He says the company learned of this incident last Friday. Now, although the disgusting video was recorded sometime in 2014, Norman says the FDA has launched a criminal investigation and that Kellogg's is conducting a full-scale internal investigation. Norman says, quote, "The actions of this individual violate the trust you've placed in us to make food for you and your family over the past 110 years. As president of Kellogg's North American business and on behalf of the 33,000 members of our Kellogg family around the world, I am deeply sorry and saddened," end quote. Kellogg says any products that could have been impacted would be very limited and past their expiration dates by now.
A Missouri high school principal will have to serve a 3-day suspension for appearing topless in a school newspaper. Cheryl Lassiter explains in the Alert Center. Cheryl.
Yeah, alternative school principal Jane Bennett appeared topless in a January printing of the school's newspaper in an article titled "Free the Nipple." The Free the Nipple movement seeks to allow women to be topless in public for breastfeeding or for any other reason. Bennett had appealed the school's decision to punish her, but last night, the Missoula County Public School Board upheld her 3-day suspension without pay. This particular article also contained language considered contentious. That's the latest from the Alert Center.
All right, Cheryl. The owner of this house on Riverwood Drive in Jackson contacted 3 on Your Side about an ongoing problem. She says every time it rains for an extended period of time, the resulting floodwaters erode more of her backyard. She says the culprit is Purple Creek, which runs behind her property.
I know it's the Pearl River backing up, and when it's at flood stage, that's when we have the biggest problems. But it's an ongoing thing. When we get a big rain, this ditch fills up and empties quickly and takes the soil with it. There's got to be some way to do some soil retention and prevent this from keep on happening.
She tells us she once tried to have the problem fixed, only to be told it's on city property, but the city insists it's on private property. It's now 5:54.
More on the forecast when we come right back. Stay with us.
3 minutes now before 6 o'clock.
And we're checking in on the 7-day forecast. And what I want you to know for today is that it's going to be warm outside and it's also going to be windy outside. Those are the biggest concerns for today, is that the wind and might affect how you dress, because I know when it's warm outside, ladies, you want to put on that nice little spring skirt, but it is going to be so breezy outside that you might be better off with a pencil skirt, that is. What's going on for tomorrow? You're giggling at me, Julia.
He has no idea, Julia. I'm speaking the language. I'm with you.
Wilson doesn't know anything about the skirt alert. A couple of showers early tomorrow.
Skirt alert.
Skirt alert. We'll be back with more on the skirt alert. So stay tuned.